different video that was critiquing fatphobic comedy.
That he does this under the very thin veil of some kind of concern for other people's health. And even if it were about health, you would still be wrong. There's nothing in any of these videos that contradicts the notion of living healthy. You're ascribing that to them because of their fatness.
Celebrating morbid obesity directly contradicts the notion of being healthy. What are you talking about? He has a link to a medical study in the description of this video. It talks about how the perception of overweight patients can get in the way of the diagnostic process. Here's the thing though. Obesity is getting directly in the way of the diagnostic process. This is becoming more of an issue because more people are becoming obese. In terms of negative impact on the different parts of your body, being overweight, obese, or morbidly obese is some of the most widespread health issues you can have. It affects pretty much all of your mental and physical health. It's obvious it's unhealthy when it's preventing people from doing stuff as simple as tying their shoes or standing up. So it's not that ridiculous for doctors to expect their patients to try a healthier lifestyle before prescribing medications. Plus, this so-called medical study is based mostly off of hypotheticals and untestable ideas. So why would they do a study like this in the first place? Money. Lots and lots of money. The estimated annual medical cost of obesity in the United States alone was nearly $173 billion in 2019. This is a relatively new trend in medicine, given the obesity rate has tripled since the 70s. At this rate, 50% of Americans will be obese in 2030, allowing the medical industry to continue to profit from this health crisis. So if Noah is going to be willfully ignorant about such a key component of health, then what is the Healthy Boys Only movement really about? Well, as far as I can tell, it's a gatekeeping tactic. There is no level of physical or mental health that will allow you into the Healthy Boys Only movement. The only way in is to agree with Noah. I understand it's just a meme, but the implication is that anybody who disagrees with Noah is automatically unhealthy. Just because you speak more softly doesn't mean you're incapable of creating an echo chamber. The one-sided nature of Noah's channel is the exact kind of closed-minded environment required to make an echo chamber in the first place.
That type of thinking is not conducive to being healthy, mentally or physically. And even if it were, nobody asked. Don't care, didn't ask, plus you're a little sick little freak.
It's to the point where Noah labels all disagreement as blind ignorance. Even when another creator goes out of their way to explain their viewpoint, Noah doesn't see that as them explaining their viewpoint. He sees it as them just ignoring talking points. Even when other content creators explicitly explain their viewpoints, Noah sees this as them trying to dodge the question. This next clip is Noah responding to a comment Ichido made about the It's Complicated interviews.
Everybody should think highly of themselves.
You should too.
All the way on the outer space.
Okay, they're just talking actual nonsense at this point, so I'm gonna interject. Yeah.
Why does he ignore these things? Because they don't fit the narrative.
It's pretty obvious when Ichido says, yeah, he's about to launch into an explanation. But Noah cuts out the explanation just to accuse Ichido of slandering a narrative. Let's take a look at the greater context of that clip, which Noah conveniently left out.
Yeah, there is a point where thinking too highly of yourself becomes a problem. It's something called narcissism. No Playboy Cardi reference, but yeah, like people literally become narcissistic once they begin to think way too highly of themselves.
So it's clear that Ichido did address these points in a relevant and coherent manner.
Look, man, I don't need to take you out of context or cut things from your response in order to show people why the stuff you're saying is bad.
Why does Noah ignore these things?
Because they don't fit the narrative.
Also, an unwillingness to address certain arguments is another telltale sign of an echo chamber.
Oh my god, those guys are so unsafe. Come here and let's go on a picnic with my cat.
In Sneako's mind, it seems like the only reason he could see as to why a straight man like myself might want to call out other straight men in a way that I often do on my channel is because I, quote, want to get some. And yes, once again, he has exposed the truth, okay? As you all know, at the end of all my videos, I do display my full real phone number in these bright, big letters with a big red arrow and text that says, "Cute girls, please text me. I am lonely and full of soy." Okay, but jokes aside, Sneako is actually referencing a real thing here, and bear with me, performative feminism by straight men in order to attract the attention of women is absolutely a thing that happens. You will find this talked about in many, if not all, leftist spaces in one way or another.
This is a tactic I've been seeing more and more from people like Noah Sampson and Hassan Piker. Noah starts by mocking the absurdity of the point Sneako just made, launching into a bit to highlight this absurdity further. After he takes some time to put some distance between Sneako and Sneako's argument, he then concedes that yes, there is some validity to the argument that Sneako brought up, and he now can start to agree with it without seeming like he agrees with Sneako. Like, he could have just admitted, yes, this is a thing that happens and it's something that has been identified by the community. But instead, Noah decides to capitalize on the situation and take a backhanded cheap shot.
So this is loser shit, obviously.
This next clip isn't a major mark against Noah or anything like that. I just want to share my perspective on the topic.
So I think anytime someone does what they want to do to feel more comfortable in their body, this is a good thing.
This is in regard to the body positivity movement, and I must say, there is a huge difference between short-term comfort and sustainable comfort. For example, eating too much candy may feel good in the moment, but you're probably going to feel nauseous later. Personally, I don't exercise for appearance or to hit some kind of weight loss goal. I exercise because I know in the long run it will improve my sleep, mood, and energy levels. Consistently choosing comfort over work is not going to lead to a functional lifestyle. So remember that the next time you say healthy boys only.
A lot of this has to do with prior bias. You feel a certain way about a thing, and admitting or considering that you might be wrong about that thing, that's a hard thing to do. You will always trend towards coming up with some half-baked excuse as to why the opposition is wrong.
I think this is a good point to close with because it really highlights Noah's lack of self-awareness. He often criticizes others for things that he himself is very much guilty of. It's pretty rare in any argument where bringing up prior bias actually means anything, because we're all human, we are all susceptible to bias. Making the argument of bias kind of just makes it sound like that you think you are immune to bias, which is biased. It's pretty much the equivalent of saying, hey, that person thinks they're right because they think they're right. It's nonsense, and this lack of self-awareness permeates through the rest of Noah's content. Noah, before you go out and accuse people of being biased or prejudiced or manipulative or clipping people out of context, you should stop and think to yourself, am I guilty of doing these same exact things? Because in many of these cases, yes, you are. Alright, that's gonna have to do it for this one. Shout out to the best subscriber squad on all of YouTube. I hope everybody has a wonderful day.
This is an expose, not a manifesto. Expose is a French word, not a Russian word.
Narcisetto gino d'amor, delle belle turbando il riposo, Narcisetto gino d'amor. Non più avrai questi bei panacchini, quel cappello leggero galante, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante, quel vermiglio d'onesco color, quel vermiglio d'onesco color. Non più avrai quei pennacchini, quel cappello, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante. Non chiudrai farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girando, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a gino d'amor, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a gino d'amor. Fra guerrieri può far bacco, gran mustacchi stretto sacco, schioppo in spalla, sciabla a fianco, collo dritto, uso franco, un gran casco, un gran turbante, molto onor, poco cantante, poco cantante, poco cantante. Ed invece del fandango, una marcia per il fango, per montagne, per valloni, con le nevi e salioni, al concerto di tromboni, di bombarde e di cannoni, che le porre tutti i tuoni all'orecchio fan fischiar. Non più avrai quei pennacchini, non più avrai quel cappello.
Friends, welcome to my channel. So one of my friend was telling me today that why wasting money on Apple product worth it, because it makes life so easy. He was telling me about Apple ecosystem, where he was telling me that how his iPhone is connected to his MacBook and everything is synced with iCloud, so his application and all the softwares of Apple which he use is so well interconnected. Okay, so today I want to talk about my ecosystem on Linux. So he was telling me, because restricted to files, webcam, and I can even use this webcam on my PC, and I got
non più avrai quella chioma, non più avrai quell'aria brillante, non più avrai farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girato, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a gino d'amor, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a gino d'amor. Che rovino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar, che rovino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar, alla gloria militar, alla gloria militar.
tell us about the
can be, right? But to XQC's credit, I would have to say that he's done a pretty good job at trying to move on from female Nikocado Avocado. When XQC broke up with his ex-girlfriend, Adept the Fattest, you know, like, he stopped talking about her, he tried to leave on a good note, like, he wasn't toxic about it, he wasn't insulting her. Shit, he even invited her on stream for a final time to, you know, to reminisce some good memories. For a time, it looked like XQC was finally moving on, he was finally having a good time, streaming games, reacting to TikToks, having a good time, right? However, that brief peaceful time wouldn't last for long. When Adept the Fattest saw that XQC was finally starting to truly move on and slowly forget about her, she decided to go apeshit and force herself back into his life. From breaking inside his house at 3 AM when XQC was doing one of his DGen late night streams and kissing him without his consent. When they're literally not together anymore. Like, you can just see from this frame how Monkey W, how uncomfortable XQC was when she kissed him. Hey, I don't know about you guys, but when I break up with a girl, I like when she comes inside my house without my consent. Fucking makes me uncomfortable as fuck. But from breaking his house and kissing him without his consent at 3 AM to literally fucking raiding his house, like, again, going to his house and knocking on the door like it was a SWAT raid.
Yeah, $10 promise, $2.
But once again, XQC tries to not start shit, he tries to be mature, and, you know, he still tries to move on, and he starts dating other people. Now, I'm not gonna talk too much about this girl, cause just know that XQC was dating her briefly until for some reason, Adept the Fattest, his ex-girlfriend, decides to invade XQC's privacy for a third time because she wasn't happy about that relationship. Essentially, she finds a way to involve herself with XQC's relationship by getting in touch with XQC and accusing him of having started that new relationship while he was still with her.
Me and Sammy are on terrible terms. Sammy gets here and the convo goes like a little bit like, I think she's more hurt than she should be because she thinks that I engaged with this new person while we're still dating. So she thinks that I possibly cheated. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I didn't. And then, you know.
I don't know, bro, it's like some schizo shit. She's essentially using her trump card to keep living inside XQC's brain and accuses XQC of cheating on her. So XQC, because he's too naive to know that this is a classic trap used by crazy manipulative ex-girlfriends, he accepts to meet with her and literally gives his phone.
I was like, I can show you, I can show you if you want to see it. So I give her my phone and I just scroll the way up. And then, you know, like...
to her and is like, oh, I have nothing to hide, so here's my phone. Go on it. Do whatever you want with it. And that's exactly what she did. She goes on his phone, looks at all of the DMs between XQC and his new girlfriend, and then calls her. But Adept the Fattest essentially calls her, tells her that her and XQC is never gonna work out, that XQC is lying to her all along, and that, you know, he's just using her like some schizo shit, right? I'm sure we've all heard stories about crazy ex-girlfriends and shit, but I think this shit takes the cake. She would eat the cake. Needless to say, shortly after XQC's obese ex-girlfriend third break-in, well, XQC and his new girlfriend had to break up for some unknown reason. For someone who's broken up with her partner, he sure loves to keep track of XQC's every move. I'm telling you, this girl is 1000% a witch. I don't even know why she's wearing rabbit ears. Like, you're not diva. You're fucking Roadhog. Now, really quick, I just want to clarify something. I know that some of you guys are gonna go in my comment section and say some shit like, but Vader, why do you keep calling her obese? Why do you keep calling her fat? Are you fat phobic? Now, here's the thing. I'm actually being very polite and, you know, I'm trying to describe her as she is. I mean, shit, there's literally a police officer who had a transcript that got leaked that literally described her as a heavy set. Yo, we live in a day and age where pronouns, physical attributes need to be described perfectly to the letter. And when I say she's obese, when I say she's a fucking fat whale, I'm just trying to describe what I'm seeing. If you thought that that's all there is to this crazy ex situation, to this crazy ex story, unfortunately, it gets worse. Just like any other gold digger, of course, Adept the Fattest will try to steal as many assets that she can get her hands on. And that sadly, of course, includes XQC's McLaren. As you know, when you're married, they're not. But when you're married, you know, you share your spouse's, your fucking wife's assets. She shares yours, you know, whatever, right? Because Adaptive Fetus opened a case, a common law marriage case against XQC, and it has yet to be resolved. Well, for the time being, like, you know, according to the judge, they both get wife-husband access until the case resolves itself. And what exactly does Adapter do with that root, that admin access? Well, you know, she takes that McLaren for a ride. She takes custody of it. XQC's McLaren is nowhere to be found, like he doesn't know where it is anymore. And just like any other manipulative, psychopathic bitch, you know, she decides to tease him about the McLaren. So there's this stream where XQC was just, you know, vibing, was just chilling, playing GTA 5 RP, where he suddenly gets a notification on his phone or on his side monitor that the fattest posted a story on her Instagram or Snapchat. Whoa! Where she's literally sitting inside of his McLaren with her stanky ass coochie with flowers on the passenger seat next to her, which is obviously her implying that she's been inviting random guys inside his car to blow her back out, bruh. You can't help but feel bad for XQC at this point. Like, I don't know, like imagine literally your own property that you bought with your own money, and your ex-girlfriend, your crazy ass ex-girlfriend's getting her cheeks clapped, bruh, by random motherfuckers. And as you can see from XQC's reaction, when he looks at that Snapchat or Instagram story from her, it completely ruins his day. Now, some people are saying that he got his car back, but some other people are saying that he didn't. I don't know, bro. Like, I just know that the next time XQC goes inside his car, he's gonna find some random motherfucker's nut, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, yo, smash like right now if you would neck if you saw a random motherfucker's nut inside your car. Sadly, as of today, XQC's common law marriage bullshit case has yet to be resolved, which of course means that the stream sniping from this fat ass well has yet to stop. About a week ago, XQC decided to leave LA because, you know, the vibes there were just not good. He wanted to move away from all that shit, from the fucking fat well. So about a week ago, he decided to move to his old house in Texas and leave that fat well behind in Los Angeles and all that other bullshit all the way over there. But unfortunately, apparently you can't outrun a well. Now what's the most mentally stable and the most normal thing that an ex-girlfriend can do? That's right, you guessed it. She decided to fly from LA all the way to Texas to his old house. Remember, because of this dogshit case, this dogshit common law case, she has root access, she has admin access. Temporarily, hopefully, but she still has it. So what did she do? Well, because Adapter is technically the co-owner of all of XQC's assets, because surely she put in 50% of the effort to get XQC where he is today. She's responsible for 50% of XQC's net worth. Like, let's be real, XQC was probably losing money because of her, because he had to buy like 50 Big Macs every day for her. She decides to go to his old house, change all the passcodes, and, you know, make it a living nightmare for him. Okay guys, so I do want to come in for some clarification because I do want to make sure I'm not spreading some bad information. Oh, by the way, sorry for the jump scare if, yeah. So when I said that Adaptive Fetus flew all the way from LA, all the way to Texas, and went to one of his old house, so I just want to make it clear, so essentially XQC has multiple houses in Texas. And while XQC was residing in one of them to start his fresh, clean slate journey in Texas, but essentially his ex-girlfriend went to his other old house in Texas to basically fuck with him. Like, you know, she changed all the passcodes in that house, was potentially stealing some of his belongings inside that house. Keep in mind that all of this was happening while he was streaming, so when he found out about that, he decided to turn off his stream and go all the way over there to see what the f was going on.
You guys, I'm gonna out this again. I think I'm gonna have to fucking go deal with stuff offline. I do have to. I don't feel comfortable. I have a lot of really cool and things that I like in my house, and I feel uncomfortable that you know, it could just get like swept under me. It feels like fucking terrible. Yeah, it feels terrible. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it's not.
XQC was basically scared of his ex-girlfriend Adapter, like literally looting his house and stealing all of his assets. And that's kind of why he ended his stream and sprinted to see what the fuck was going on. But when he thought that things couldn't get worse, A few hours ago, XQC posted this pretty disturbing clip on his Twitter.
Main entrance, nice little stairs. From the other side. Room here for creative stuff. Mudroom.
Like, the beginning of the clip looks like what appears to be a wholesome, harmless video of him showcasing his house to his fans. Now, to no one's surprise, if Adapter did indeed steal some assets inside this house, rest assured that his gym set, his equipment, was not stolen. It was kept intact, bro. Untouched. But, near the end of the clip...
Okay. I'm getting out. Thank you for helping out.
You literally see XQC and the police outside of his house. He's walking outside, there's a police car. Like, I don't know what's going on. Is he getting kicked out? Like, no one knows what's going on. But what do we also see? And it's pretty fucking hard to miss. Well, you also see his ex-girlfriend, and she doesn't even have the courage to look at his face, the person she's been fucking with this whole time. Now, let me just say this. I can't emphasize this enough, but all of this is obviously not normal behavior.
Dude, police at my other fucking house again. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not ending. I don't give a fuck.
And as I'm editing this, it would seem that this obese ex-girlfriend is again at his other house trying to fuck with him. That is the kind of behavior from someone who has nothing to lose. And you know what? Even though I really hope that XQC wins this bogus case, I don't want to imagine what would happen if he was to actually win. Like, what someone who has nothing to lose could possibly end up doing. She strikes me as a gold digger who absolutely does not want to go back to our normal McDonald's 9-to-5 life, and, you know, who got used to, you know, getting free Gucci bags, free fucking McLarens, and getting her cheeks clapped, you know, in rich cars, in rich houses. Like, she's used to that lifestyle, and she does. You know what? Obviously not normal behavior.
Dude, police at my other fucking house again. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not ending. I don't give a fuck.
And as I'm editing this, it would seem that this obese ex-girlfriend is again at his other house trying to fuck with him. That is the kind of behavior from someone who has nothing to lose. And you know what? And getting her cheeks clapped, you know, in rich cars, in rich houses. Like, she's used to that lifestyle, and she does not want to go away from that. I just can't imagine what XQC must be feeling, bro. Like, knowing fully well that you're getting played by a fat whale and getting kicked out from your own house that you paid with your own money. I don't know, bro. This whole thing's cooked. Now, I don't know how the fuck it could get any worse than this, but it somehow did. XQC, also known as the Cuckler, decided to throw even harder than the Golden State Warriors by falling for the classic gold digger divorce scam trap. Adaptive Fetus played the, oh, I'm not feeling too well mentally. Can you come to me really quick? Can you please come check out on me? And I don't know why, bro, but XQC fucking fumbled the bag, bro. He went to her house, he fell for the trap, and actually went to her to comfort her. But he decided not to leave the house instantly right after comforting her, and decided instead to sleep. Now, I want you to think very carefully, okay? Very carefully for a second. Imagine that you're a gold-digging fat motherfucker, and you currently have a case pending about common law marriage, and you're trying to prove to the court that you are indeed married to your husband, that you're trying to yoink 50% of their income. Now, what exactly would you do if, you know, you see your the guy you're trying to scam to ruin his life sleeping on his bed alone? Now, if you answered, well, I'd buy a fake ring and
this is my wedding ring,
and then go pretend I'm sleeping with them, put my hand on their shoulder, and then take a picture of my ring next to them? Well, that's what happened. I don't know, man. Like, this is some completely mentally unstable shit. Like, to go as far as to buy yourself a fake ring for yourself, to then take a picture when someone's sleeping without their consent, to try to prove to... What? It is true what they say, guys. Do not put your glizzy inside crazy, bro. Like, you're gonna regret it. I don't know about you guys, but now that we know all the crazy stuff that XQC's ex-girlfriend has done to him, I think it's fair to assume that XQC might be in serious danger. We've pretty much confirmed that this girl is not normally in the head, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I feel like she might be the kind of girl to be like, oh well, if I can have that life, that rich life, neither can he. And this is why I really hope that XQC hires some full-time bodyguards if he is, and hopefully if he has to win that case.
Hello and welcome to
Just hang out.
I don't need to do anything.
Exactly.
I just like just date.
I like you. But you seem very drunk though.
No, I'm not even drunk.
Really?
He's super drunk.
Your eyes.
And then I have like.
Your eyes are very goggly.
Oh really? No, I'm just like walking around hanging out. He puts a camera in my face all the time. It's hard to like connect with people.
It's the stress.
On a real level.
That's why.